Why does this benefit the average golfer? What does
Yeah.
it do for them?
Yeah, so the way these putters are designed, they're designed where they balance with the toe up, whereas traditional putters typically either balance with the face up, face balance design, or they'll have some amount of toe hang. Some may have as much as 90 degrees of toe hang, depending on where the hosel enters the head and the design of the hosel. With these putters being toe up, during your stroke, they tend to want to stay square to your path. So if you're trying to reduce the amount of face rotation in your stroke, they work really well for players that tend to leave the face open. Because often what will happen is on their forward stroke, the face will open up or they won't get it back to square. So if we can keep the face square throughout, it'll work well for a lot of those players. If you're a player that misses right and left and is sort of inconsistent, also, a good candidate for that.
For this line for Odyssey specifically, how does the technology work? How does it keep it square?
Yeah, so the way that this design works, it's a center shafted design, but the shaft also enters the head behind the top line. Whereas a traditional center shafted putter would come, in our designs would come into the top line here. It does that in order to line up with the center of gravity. So the center of gravity of the head is just in line with where the shaft enters the head. And that's what allows it to balance the way that it does. The shaft actually enters just slightly above where the center of gravity of the head is. So that's what gives it that unique characteristic. Because the shaft enters behind the leading edge or the top line and doesn't have offset like a lot of putters would, we build in some forward shaft lean. So these putters have 3.3 degrees of forward shaft lean in order to get the player's hands back in line with the face. If we didn't do that, then your hands would be behind the putter and you'd have a lot of face progression. It would be just a very unconventional sort of setup. And then if you went from there and forward pressed or delivered your hands more forward, then you would take all the loft off, which is also what we do not want.